Spoiler talk time. Now, if you saw my Avengers Endgame spoiler-free review, you know that I bullshitted my way around the whole plot. And I'm completely okay with that because I really didn't want it getting spoiled in that video. And because that video truly is my feeling on this film to the most basic extent. I love the second and third acts for the amount of emotional impact they had on me, and the first act was pretty rough. So let's talk about what made that first act so rough and what made the second and third acts so special. So I thought that the movie started off nicely. I like that it started off with Hawkeye's family dying. That's actually how I assumed it was going to start. And I'm okay with Captain Marvel rescuing Tony and Nebula from space. I didn't want that to happen, but it was natural. I like the way they pulled it off. I like that she took them back to Earth. So this is where it gets a little hairy. So Thanos gets killed, like in the first 15 minutes. Some of the Avengers go up, they find his planet, and Thor just chops his head off after they subdue him. And this does a lot of things wrong for me. First off, I don't like how the Avengers immediately find him. I understand there was a big energy surge, but somehow the Avengers have access to all these planets, and I just don't buy that. And you might be thinking, well, Nick, you buy everything else. Why not buy this? And it's because it feels forced. It feels like the Russos wanted to get this plot thread out of the way, and it just comes so quickly and goes so quickly that I was like, there's no way that they were thinking that we need to get this over with. It's just stupid. And I don't like how they kill him so easily because it diminishes not only his power, but his accomplishment in Infinity War, that they go and just chop his head off. I don't like this. It felt jarring. No one's going to change my mind about this. I do not like the scene, and I think it could have been omitted. I think it would have been more desperate for the Avengers if they couldn't find him, and they kept on searching and searching, and they could not do anything about it. And they would have had to change the plot just a little bit. But if Thanos, somehow knew that they were going back in time and would chase them, I think that would have been better than old Thanos, searching around for them. And I'm fine with that because of the way it worked out, but I just do not like at all the way they treated Thanos in the opening moments of this movie. And then it gets better. I like Black Widow's anguish for all the things that Hawkeye has done, and I like that Scott Lang gets to come back, see this decimated world, see his daughter. That was all great. But then we get to Professor Hulk, and this just made me really uncomfortable. And it's not the motion capture, and it's not the thought of Banner and Hulk being together as one. It's the motion capture, it's the dialogue. This was just not okay. I don't like the facial expressions Hulk was making, and that's not against the motion capture. I'm sure the motion capture was fine, but the faces that Mark Ruffalo was making, or the faces that they were thinking of, it just did not match up. I think Hulk has always been a character striving for something. I feel like Mark Ruffalo has done something different every movie to try and truly find Hulk, and what he did in this movie is yet another failure of that. I think he's a very cringeworthy character. I did not like his interactions in this film, especially in this scene. I don't like the kids coming up. It was bad. I did not like it, and it gets a little worse from there. Actually, I make it better because Tony Stark, the stuff with him and his daughter is great because Robert Downey Jr. is just such an excellent actor that he really holds up those scenes, and it really adds emotional weight to the stuff later on with the fights. But I did not like how Pepper Potts was encouraging Tony. In all these movies, for 11 years now, she's been discouraging him to go further and further, and for her to suddenly realize that it's okay for him to go further, I did not like that. That was another jarring moment that felt like the Russos were just trying to get something out there. And Fat Thor, this was fucking horrible. I literally turned to my friend in the movie and said, this is horrible, because it was that bad. The CGI Fat was bad. I know that it was cool later when he looked like Odin actually in his armor and shit, but this was not okay. Not only the CGI stuff, but they could have made Thor look like a depressed loser without having him look like, as Tony Stark says, the dude from The Big Lebowski. He looks like a loser. It, once again, jarring for the character, feels unnatural. I don't like how much of a bum he is. They make a fucking Fortnite reference. Fortnite is on the television during this scene. It's just so unnatural, and that Fortnite reference really just symbolizes the entirety of the first act. It's incredibly unnatural, and I don't like it. But then after that, I turned to my friend and I said, I think it's going to get good once they start time traveling. And once they start time traveling, it's awesome. It's genuinely great. I love the different teams. Once again, like Infinity War, the teams are very carefully selected, so the dynamics are really good. We'll start with Black Widow and Hawkeye, since theirs was the biggest one. They go to Vormir, and immediately I was like, oh shit, one of them's going to die. And Black Widow sacrifices herself. This, to me, really solidified Black Widow's character. This made her one of my favorites because over the years she's gotten better. I think Winter Soldier was her peak, but she's been gradually getting away from the sex symbol she was in Iron Man 2. And this was a great moment for her. It's one of my favorites in the MCU. It's a noble sacrifice for Hawkeye's family, and it made more sense for her to die than him, because you can still have a prequel stuff about her in her own movie or her TV show and still have her be relevant and dead here, and I think this added a lot to her character. We also had Thor and Rocket go back to Asgard in 2013. This was awesome for a lot of reasons. A, we got Rocket in some comic book attire. We have Thor having an emotional conversation with his mother. And we also have Natalie freaking Portman returning. 2013 was the last time that we truly got to see an essence of her character. Yeah, we had some of it in Ragnarok by name, but we actually got to see her back. And I thought that was absolutely incredible. It was truly shocking, and it was just awesome to see her back. We also have Nebula and War Machine going to the planet, I forget the name, but it's the planet that Peter Quill goes to at the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy to get the Power Stone. It was awesome seeing Peter Quill dance around again. That was really fun to see him there. And then the crown jewel is the Battle of New York revisited. This was long rumored to be there, but nothing could truly it was mind-blowing seeing this. The Ancient One was there, which was completely unexpected. We had a Captain America versus Captain America fight. Fucking Robert Redford and Crossbones return. When I saw Pierce and Crossbones, that's when I knew that this film was going to hold a special place in my heart. And I know it's so simplistic to just add characters in for a couple of seconds, but it means so much to me because Winter Soldier is one of my favorite movies ever. And it was just such a special moment to see those characters on screen again. I love when Captain America gets into the elevator and you think that you're going to have another elevator fight and he just says, "Hail Hydra." Just so clever, so intelligent. And then Tony and Steve have to go to 1970 because Loki gets the Tesseract and escapes. So they have to get the Tesseract and also get Pym particles to get them back to the present. This was great because we get to see a young Hank Pym, but more importantly, we get to see Howard Stark and Carter. And this is awesome because these are two characters that are really important to Tony and Steve's past and just their character now in the present as well. However, they couldn't have been shown any other way. Their importance couldn't have been emphasized in just a picture. You actually had to have Steve and Tony see them in that moment to actually feel the weight that they've had on these characters. So then in the present, Hulk uses the Infinity Gauntlet. They get all the stones to bring everybody back, which is of course great, but it doesn't show anything right away except Hawkeye has his family back. But things go south when Nebula is not really Nebula, she's Bad Nebula, and this goes back to the 2014 thing. Good Nebula gets replaced by Bad Nebula because Good Nebula is captured, and Thanos shows up and decimates everything. Not like the snap, but he comes in with his big warship, and it just starts raining down fire on Avengers HQ. And then we have the moment that really summarizes this film for me, and it's when Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man fight Thanos. This fight is not nearly as well choreographed as the Battle on Titan. The Battle on Titan, granted, it's the second best fight in the MCU, but it just has so much cohesion and clarity to it. You know every single part that happens in this battle, frame by frame. You know every punch, every shot. It's so clear, and the amount of tension and pacing that comes with it makes it such an excellent fight, not only to watch, but rewatch. It's just excellent, and this fight does not do that for me. You understand what's going on, but there are a lot of close-ups. I didn't appreciate it as much as I would like to from a technical standpoint, but emotionally, it's a superior fight. I mean, the fact that Cap wields Mjolnir, the fact that Thor gets all this lightning and just shoots it into Iron Man, the fact that he gets to wield Stormbreaker and Mjolnir at the same time to face Thanos, it was such an emotionally charged fight, and for me, it made it, if not better than the Battle on Titan, at least on the same level. And then we have to talk about the single greatest moment in Marvel movie history, maybe my favorite movie moment of all time. It's just that good. So, as we know, Bruce Banner, the Hulk, Professor Hulk, whatever you want to call him, he snaps back people. And so they return from dust, they're back, but, they don't show up. However, when things look south, we get to see Doctor Strange, not him, but his magic start to work, and then Black Panther comes out with Shuri and Okoye, and then we get to see more and more characters come back, and they're all back, and they all get to fight Thanos. This was incredible. It's beyond me. I can't even begin to express how amazing this fight was, and despite the fact that it lacked the same amount of thought put into it as something like the Battle of the Two Towers, what the Battle of Wakanda lacked in its emotion, this made up for it tenfold. This fight was incredible. This fight, everyone had their moment, except Hulk, actually, which I'm okay with since I don't like Hulk that much at all. But you had Spider-Man have the gauntlet for a while. You had Black Panther have the gauntlet for a while. You had Tony and Pepper fighting together. There were so many excellent moments here. It was just moment after moment of joy and goosebumps, and you just have to see it for yourself. And it made me think of all the moments I loved in the Marvel Universe. It was like my whole childhood flashed before me. And that to me is priceless. I don't think that any movie could ever replicate that again. And seeing that battle was a highlight of my life, in all honesty. And then we get to see Captain Marvel destroy that ship, which was excellent. Captain Marvel wasn't there most of the film, which I loved, thank God. And then she destroys the ship. And that's great, not only for showing her power, but she does something that's useful but not directly influencing the battle. And even when she gets to fight Thanos, Thanos takes the fucking Power Stone and just rams her in the face with it. And this was great because it doesn't diminish her power, but it showed that she was not going to be the one to take down Thanos. And I really appreciated that by the Russos. And then we have Iron Man, of course, delivering the final blow, taking the stones and snapping his fingers. This was one of the most emotional deaths ever in film. This was just brutal. For me, it was one of the most emotional deaths because I've been with him for so long. And I thought that was a satisfying end to his character. And I loved that the whole proof that Tony Stark has a heart. I thought that was awesome, having that. That was a full circle for Tony Stark. And I thought Captain America's ending was great as well, that he gets to have his dance and live his life. It was just beautiful. It was a beautiful ending, and everything wrapped up the way, if not the way I wanted to, the way that feels the most natural. Thor joins the Guardians, Valkyrie is handed Asgard, Falcon becomes the new Captain America. It was all fine. I enjoyed every part of it, and I loved the end with all of the people who really contributed to the MCU having their character moments shown, and of course, the original 6 Avengers having their signatures there, ending with Robert Downey Jr. It was a really emotional and impactful ending for me, and it was a really emotional and impactful film. This film will never be duplicated again. It's impossible to truly duplicate this, and it's not gonna be technically praised. I don't think it should be because it's not on the same level as some of the other Marvel films, not even Infinity War. But we have to look past that and look at the greater picture here and what this did for the Marvel Universe, what it did for the fans, what it did for Stan Lee. It was a beautiful tribute to what the characters have meant to people, and I'm just so happy that it came out this way. Of course, not the first act. I think it could have been handled much better, but everything from the time travel on was something truly special, and I hope you guys all enjoyed it. So that's all for Avengers Endgame. Thank you guys for watching. I'm probably going to have more stuff to say, but on just the film itself, that's all I got. So thank you guys so much for watching, and see you all next time.